Building server performance monitoring using SCLAB Studio. Hello. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how we do server monitoring with a SCLAB. So we're going to do server monitoring. We're going to prepare 2 servers as VMs. We're going to send the matrix information to the studio through the broker, and then we're going to draw a chart from that. I've got 2 VMs ready to go. They both have CentOS installed and 2 IP addresses. I've created 2 copies. Using the virtual box, and all that's installed is the information. In the SCLAB, you need to brokerize it first. Create a new site. Click on this menu. There's an IoT server part. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to create a topic called APM. I've created a topic and it's going to communicate between 2 servers. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this newly created topic, and what we're going to do is, in that topic, we've got 2 servers each. I'm going to use the same metric information. As a topic, and since I made the name APM, I'll use the APM/, and I'll make 2 from the APM. I originally wrote it with APM, so you have to start with APM and the latter part doesn't matter. If you do something other than APM, you can't connect to it, so you have to do it. If you try connect, you won't be able to access the data. I need to connect it to send the metric information. But only the broker is set up, and I need to install an agent on this server to send the metric information to this server. So let's try that. First of all, if you look at the GitHub, there's https://github.com/sclabio/sclabapp, and then you come over here. This is how you install it. Attach it to the server. Install Git first. I need to install Node.js. Copy and paste. I'm going to go ahead and check this out. Okay, so we have Node.js installed. We need to go get the source, and I'm going to go to my home folder and get the source. I'm going to come in here, and here's the source. What you need to do is create a ENV file, by ENV, hit I key, stick that in there. Interval MS wants to send a signal at a 1-second interval, and it communicates the protocol with the broker configuration information. Let's add that. You can add the information you created here. For the topic, this is server 1. So if you look before that, it's at /1. You can use the APM, but you need to make multiple topics, so you can just make one and send it to this side or that side. APM 1 and then host info. You'll see host info right here. Copy and paste it here, copy the client ID here, and as for the device ID, just use 1. Because it's the first server, you can say it's number 1 and it doesn't matter. Server 1 and server 2 don't have the same client ID. If they don't, it doesn't matter. If you use the same username, the connection is broken. That's what causes problems. Enter the username with this, copy the password, and enter it like this. Escape:/WQ and now I've got a ENG file and you're going to have to go through. This script called build.sh. You only need to build it once. And then you're just going to say run.sh. And now if I run a/logs.sh, this is what the log looks like. Because the metric information of this server is still flowing, I'll actually go in and take a look. Because the metric information is being sent to server 1. Server 2 isn't set up yet, so it hasn't arrived yet. So I'm just going to take that information and I'm going to make a chart out of it, because it has data on server 1. If you click Connect, you can see it. CPU utilization is the load of CPU, but we're going to use this later. Because the object is in the structure and the data is in it, so you can enter CPU load. So your path says CPU.load and your memory says mem.usit. And the disk is. I don't know if I'm seeing the format right now because it's coming in real time, but I'm going to switch it off. And you're going to see the disk storage usage, which is pretty minimal right now. So disk.usit. And I'm just going to say skip the disk, and I'm just going to say date and time, because if I want to do something else, I can add that in. So I'll say save. Select the chart. So I'm just going to set it so that if I get over 50% CPU usage, it's going to generate an alert. It's a chart related to server 1. Let's save it. Let's go here. Create a layout. Let's put server 1's chart here. I turned it off, so the metric information isn't coming in, but I'll on it again. So I've got one set up, and now I'm going to do the same thing on server 2. Server 2, I've already installed up to node.js, and I'm going to go home and paste the source. Let's set the interval value for server 2 to 5 seconds. For the topic, you can copy and paste the access information from APM/2. The client ID is appsample/appen/2. ID, password. Save it. Run the build. Think about it. It's supposed to be transmitting data at 5-second intervals. So we're going to say server 2. And then I'm going to make a chart. If it's over 50 here too, I'll make the threshold setting. Server 2 in the chart. The data is coming in at 1 second on this side, and the data is coming in at 5 seconds on this side. If it doesn't need to be updated often, it doesn't matter if it's too long. If you need to have shorter monitoring, you need to have less time. Let's say you want to change the 5-second rule. So we'll go ahead and pause. Go to the end, change the interval _ms, save that, and then we'll do a/run.sh. And we'll see that come back in. So now that I've connected to this server, the monitoring system is up and running. I'm going to do something to increase my CPU utilization. The data is coming in nicely. So I'll give it a load. I'm at server 1 terminal. When it reaches 50%, the threshold should be activated, but I didn't press publish. So I don't have any thresholds working, so let's try publish. Publish brings up the threshold. If you look at the threshold settings, there's an interval value. If you do this once, you'll only get an alert once. If it's a second, it's going to be critical several times a second. Set it to a second. Publish it. The critical level is rising, but as you can see, the CPU is being used more, and lamps can also be on. And from the data, when they turn the ramp on server 1, because I'm hitting my threshold at 50%, I keep checking to see if I get over 50%, and the alarm comes in. I'm going to set an alarm on mine as well. On the first page of the server, the load is still bothering it, so the alarm keeps coming up. At times, it reached 96%, and when it hit 50%, so I can press this button and we can see what happens at what point. That's how you can see it. But since it keeps notifying you every second, if you see too much, it will keep increasing. When you want to reduce that, you can go to the data editor and say, OK. This interval is 1 second apart, but it's only coming once a minute. So it's reduced to 1/60th of a minute. The number of times I get notifications. Publish is the only thing that applies when I change. And I'm over 50, but I keep getting stuck at 62. Since it's set to 1 minute, the alarm won't go off for 1 minute. When the minute is up, the alarm will go off one by one. If you look here, it came at 15 minutes and 7 seconds, and you can see it came at 16 minutes and 7 seconds. You can set a threshold like this, and now that the load has been updated, the load has gone back down. Now I can click the live button and see all the data in 30 minutes. If I want to go back to a live state, I can click the Clear button. You can apply donut charts here. I'll make a donut chart. Based on CPU utilization. It's not being used enough. You'll see it go up once I load it. It's synced to the CPU value now. I finished the explanation.